Live. 001. 002.
All right. I think that's got it, babe. Not sure.
Oops. Right there. You're good.
Thanks. Hello, everyone. Welcome to what is so affectionately fell on being called Torah living. All my peoples, all my friends, family, fellow believers, fellow Yahuwah worshipers, through the excellent spiritual spirit of Yahuwah, through Yahusha,
Showing item 1 of 1.
we are gathering today. And you guys are going to have to, forgive my notifications. They may be loud. I'm blind. My phone speaks to me.
Showing items 1 to 2 of 2.
And I'm going to turn off the talk back, which is probably going to pause this, but we'll, resume it immediately. Okay, did it stop?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Well, we'll see if it did.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not going to delay. Welcome to Torah Living. Shabbat Shalom. Hopefully you are obeying his commandment to keep this day set apart. No kindling of fire, no business transactions, exchanging of money.
Showing items 1 to 4 of 4.
I didn't turn it off. That's why. Okay. One moment.
All right, you should be back.
Okay. Now we're back. No kindling of fire, no business transactions, no exchanging of money, no doing things that are considered work in the field, plowing, working at all, any kind, unless you're like at a soup kitchen, homeless shelter, doing things of that nature for the further spreading of the good news. If you're reading scripture to others, if you're visiting the widows, the sick, the orphans, those things you are allowed to do. You are allowed to do good on Shabbat. But on today, we're going to talk about lust, because this is something that a lot of us fail to address. We have eyes for the things of other people, the bodies of other people, the ways of the world, the idols that they serve, oh man, there's so much that goes into that, and you need to know that it's designed to keep you out of the kingdom. You need to know that if you give in to it, it manifests itself within you, and death takes a giant step towards you. You want to keep living, you want to act as though the body that you're in won't cease to exist at some point. You got another thing coming. We don't We don't really have a choice now that we're here to just get out of it, get out of the contract of living, of life itself. You are living. You are alive. Those of you, obviously, who are listening to this, you are alive. There's blood flowing through your body, whether you're sick or healthy. If you can do that, you have a chance to get it right. Because there will come a time when you won't inhabit this flesh. There will come a time when you will not be alive in this world. Now, what happens afterwards is up to you and what you do now. And right now, we're going to talk about one of those things that keeps you out of the kingdom. Excuse me. I gotta get rid of this gum because while it is tasty,
you just want to chomp on it?
So what do we do? What is this lust thing? You all know what lust is. You all know. You don't really need me to give you a definition of lust. But the scriptures give you a definition. If you don't know, read it. We have some scriptures that we're going to get into, and, you can't make excuses to carry out your desires and your lust. You will be tempted. We all know that temptation does not come from the Father. He will not tempt you. He will test you, not tempt you. The test is what you do when temptations come for you, and they will come for you. What you do when, if you're a woman, that there's a guy that you really like. He has an excellent personality. He's, charming. He's outgoing. He's witty. He's funny. He's intelligent. He's got all the qualities of what you want in a mate. But he wants you to do some things that are immoral. He wants you to do some things that will effectively lock you out of the kingdom. Guaranteed. Now you have a choice to make. This is your temptation. This is also the test. What are you going to do with the knowledge? We'll put a pin in that. Say you're a guy. You're pining for a mate. You're praying to Yahuwah to send you somebody, or at least put you on the path to this person whom is going to be your helpmeet, who's going to have your back, who's going to basically help you build a home, carry your children, perpetuate your lineage, your bloodline. This person, is going to be sweet and demure and intelligent and faithful, loyal. Is going to be somebody that you can look up to. Is going to be also somebody that you could lead. This person is right there, and it seems like that she's perfect. However, she's attached to someone else right now. You have a decision to make. You have temptation right with you. And it could go several different ways. You can just lust for her from afar because, she's got the right build. She's got the right everything in your mind of what you would want, things that would sexually turn you on. What do? But you know that with all temptation and all lustful things, all desires, Yahuwah, the Most High, gives you a way out of it. You don't have to give in. You don't have to lose self-control, and the cost is too great. If you don't understand the little thing, I mean, the most minute things that will keep you out of the kingdom, go back and look at what happened with Moshe. Go back and look at what happened when he got in his emotions. I mean, this wasn't a lustful thing, but it was a disobedient thing. And being lustful, after he tells you not to be, is being disobedient. It will keep you out of the kingdom. But let's go back. Moshe at the rock, where Yahuwah told him to speak to the rock so that the people could have water, and that they would give esteem to the Most High. They would lift his name up in praise and thanks. But because they were nagging him and they were being, were gregarious and boisterous and rude, just outright rude to him, impatient, rather than speak to the rock in his anger, he hit it. And the water came out. But all he did was pretty much satiate their discontent. And Yahuwah did not get the praise for that. He did not get the esteem from that. And that little thing right there kept him from going to where they were all going. And if we are all going to the kingdom, one little thing will keep you. And you might say, well, that's just crazy. Why? That's silly. Why wouldn't Yahuwah let him into the kingdom? Because he's not playing around. If he says that he's meticulous about certain things, you better start taking it serious, because as I move my fingers and hands right now and I can feel the blood going through my veins, I know that one day it won't. And that's when my problems start. If I'm not following his will. If you're not following his will. If you don't think that your spirit is going to go on, you think that, you only live once and you're going by the doctrines of this world and the philosophies. I don't know what to tell you other than just to give you the truth. We're not alone. We're here. And if you can formulate and you can think and you can, hypothesize and theorize and all of these different things, then you know that right now you're more than just a person that just has a job, goes back and forth 5 days a week at the most, depending. COVID has got a lot of you sitting at home. So if you think that this is it, think again. There are rules that we have to follow as believers. Now, those of you who don't believe, then I would suggest you get off of your butts and read so that you don't get left behind. You don't get locked out of the kingdom, because it's not going to be a good thing. And if you don't want to serve the Most High because you don't agree with his methods and you think you can be a better deity than he is, then obviously this message is not for you. You can keep it moving. You can close out of this video and just keep it moving. Enjoy your life while you got it. To know that everything you accumulate on this earth, you will not be able to take with you. It's not. It's staying. It's not going with you. But for those of you who are believers, let's talk about one of the most important things, and that's lust. And it doesn't always have to be sexual. But in a lot of instances, it is sexual. We we get these desires, these urges. And for those of you who are married, like me, like Tammy, I'm sorry, I didn't even introduce Tammy. I'm Cap. Obviously, you see that on my hat. And if you can't see that, you're blind like me. I'm telling you, I'm Cap. And I'm here with...
I figured I'd delay like you did. Tammy. Hello.
Tammy.
Shabbat shalom. Hello.
Sorry, you guys. She's my right hand. She got my back. She's my best friend. She's my favorite person. She's my everything. She's almost my all in all. But that, you know who that is. That's Yahuwah. And my head is Yahusha. So we're going to talk about lust. We're going to, those of you who are married like me, like Tammy, you've made a conscious choice to devote yourself to one. You've made a conscious choice. You've made a subconscious choice. You've made a spiritual choice. You made a physical choice. Mental. To devote yourself and confine yourself within the bonds of marriage, the contract, the covenant, that there will be no other. Yet, temptation don't care about your marriage. It doesn't care about your marriage. It'll come in the form of something that you think that you've always wanted, that you've always needed. When you got what you need right here, right now. Those of you who are married, you got what you need right here, right now. And if you made the choice to unevenly yoke yourself with someone who is not a believer, who does not share your ideals, who does not even believe that Yahuwah is the Most High, the only Elohim, then this is a bed that you've made, and, I would take it to him as to what you are to do. However, but I would not act before he gives you permission to do so. But for the others, the scriptures must be fulfilled that an unbelieving husband is saved of his believing wife. An unbelieving wife is saved of her believing husband, because you will show the light of the Messiah. These people will see that light. They will see the things that have happened, that Yahuwah blesses the work of your hands. And you will prosper because of it. So don't let go of Yahuwah. Don't fall for temptation when you see individuals that seeming to hold everything that you have desired in a person, and lead you away from those things that are of Yahuwah. These are the ways of the world. This is how you become ensnared. This is how the seed of Yahuwah gets ripped from you. And we don't want that to happen. We don't need that to happen, because our end goal, the end game, is to make it into the kingdom. Now, also keep in mind that as a married couple, you don't enter into the esteem of Yahuwah, in the afterlife together. It is until death that rips you apart, and you yourself will go on and stand before the judge and either get the invitation to proceed into the kingdom, or that other place where you get locked out forever. There is no second chance. There are no do-overs. You have choices to make in this life. It is your responsibility. You cannot say that the devil made me do it. The devil made me go cheat on my wife. The devil made me cheat on my husband. No, you failed temptation to the lust, and also failed the test. Now, as you live and breathe, that doesn't mean that is the end of all. I mean, once you sin, that's it. That's over. There's no chance that you'll get into the kingdom. But as long as you breathe, as long as you're alive, you got a chance to get it right. You can stop what you're doing. You don't have to continue to sin, to steal, to kill, to destroy, to covet, to blaspheme. You don't have to keep serving and worshiping idols. You don't have to keep disrespecting your parents. You don't have to keep giving in to emotion. You don't have to keep taking his name in vain. You don't have to keep lying on people. You don't have to keep lying on yourself. Lying to yourself. For what purpose and what gain is it that you lose your life and everything that is you? You know, that's not a gain, that's a loss. That's a major loss. How can you fix it then? How can you go back and say, Yahuwah, I'm sorry? If you read the scriptures, you can't. After you've taken your last breath and there are no more, and it does not matter if you are a celebrity. It does not matter if you are a congressman. It doesn't matter if you're a president, a king, a prince, a princess. It doesn't matter if you're the poorest person on the earth. It doesn't matter if you're half dead right now. It doesn't matter if you're just so robust and full of life. It doesn't matter. After you've taken your last breath, it does not matter who you were. That part's over. Your reign of wealth is over. You can't buy your way into the kingdom. It does not take rubies, diamonds, gold, silver, American dollar, yen, franc. It does not take. You can't take it with you. So.
Not even Bitcoin?
Nope, not Bitcoin, not cryptocurrency, not rolling the dice. You can't make a deal with Yahuwah after that. That's it. So now what? So let's go into the scripture and find out what lust is. What the scriptures say about lust. And I'm only going to give you a few because they're, if I was to talk about all the lust that is in the scripture, and I'm going to tell you right now, if he keeps telling you something, he keeps bringing it up and bringing it to your attention, that means that you have to study this. You have to incorporate it into your mind, into your way of life, so that you do not fall prey. And that is mentioned all throughout scripture, of lust and idolatry and immoral practices, sexual or otherwise. You have to take it serious. You have to incorporate it into you, because he mentions it more than once, way more. So we'll start you off on the first scripture, which would be what?
Matthew 5:28. But I say to you that everyone who looks at a woman with lustful intent has already committed adultery with her in his heart.
So every man that looks at a woman. So here's a debate. What if we're not married? I'm not committing adultery then. I'm not committing adultery. You may not commit adultery, but lust is there. And we'll get into what happens with lust for those of you who aren't married and decide that, hey, maybe I can just lust after people all I want because I'm not in a covenant with anybody. But if you're married and you see a woman that is a perfect 10 in your eyes, in your heart, in your mind, and man, the wheels start turning. Oh, it could be this way. It could be that way. It would be awesome. It would be wonderful. Oh my goodness. And now you're both naked in your mind and you're both doing things, and that you have conceived a sin. You have conceived in your mind a sin. And when that sin takes root, it produces an action. The action is that you approach this woman, you talk to this woman, you get her involved emotionally with you. And then that leads to the physical. And then you sin against your body. And we'll have that scripture in a minute. You sin against your own body, your own flesh. And you cause her to do the same to hers. And guess what happens? Those breaths, they become more shallow because death takes a giant leap towards you. Your end has just come closer to you. What's the next scripture?
1 John 2:16. For all that is in the world, the desires of the flesh and the desires of the eyes and pride in possessions is not from the Father, but is from the world.
So, as we are taught these days, with technology and everything, and, fancy cars, huge houses, lavish lifestyles, yachts, boats, prestigious life, everybody wants to live that kind of life. Everybody wants to be in that 1 percentile where they have no worries or no cares. They can go wherever they want. They can do whatever they want with whomever they want. All they have to do is just pay for it. You got enough green, you can make your way in this world. You can pay for anything in this world. I mean, your houses, your cars, there's guys, I look at people like, and I'm not passing judgment on these people, but, these are observations. You can look at them and see, like, people like Jay Leno who have, like, these warehouse just full of these cars. That guy that was on Netflix, the counting cars. He's got this warehouse where there are several levels just of cars. He's just collecting all these things. You collect china and you collect silver and you collect gold. You have these reserves. You have offshore bank accounts. Some of you, Kenneth Copeland, even buy planes. If you got it like that, hey, you got it like that. Awesome. Nobody's going to be mad at you if you buy a plane. But if you do it at the expense of the people whom you are trying to teach in the way of the Most High, then I'm not going to judge. I'm not, but I can tell you that it ain't right. And I can tell you that it's harder for a person that is in the world to give up the ways of the world and the lusts that follow, that are the life's blood of living in this world. Politics, scandals, television, movies, cell phones, internet. The new technology where there are cars that, Tammy and I talked about, I think Tesla makes it, that will drive you places. You don't even have to drive anymore. If you got enough money and can afford something like that, hey, But these things also distract you. The lusts of the eyes for these things. If you don't have them, you're going to want them. You're going to lust after them. You're going to desire them. And then you'll take steps to obtain these things. These things have now become, your obsession. And an obsession is akin to idolatry. If you don't have the money to get these things and you can't seem to, get a loan or whatever, then now you're hatching plots. You're scheming. Some of you, you're scheming on how I can take from somebody else. He don't deserve that. She don't deserve that. Or if, you're a female, you see a guy that's, well-to-do, he's got a wife. Well, she don't deserve him. I could do better. I could do for him what she won't do and all of this. And see what happens when it takes root? You start making excuses to do those things, to live immorally. I don't like who I am. I would rather be something else. I was born a man. I was not born a female. I was born a man. I'm still a man. I will continue to be a man. But there are some of us who they're not cool with the status quo. So they have a lust and a desire to be something that they're not. If you're born a woman, you're a woman. If you're born a man, you're a man. There is no technicolor spectrum in between this. But we make excuses, and the world has accepted this form of lust, this form of immorality that directly breaks covenant with Yahuwah. Well, he made me this way. Where is that in Scripture? I defy you to show me where the Most High said, oh, it's all right. I made you this way. Hey, I make mistakes. I heard that at Chris Rock. Did a comedy show. He's talking about God makes mistakes. Everybody knows that God makes mistakes. You mean to tell me that you made a world where nobody wants to believe that you exist? I'd say that's a mistake. Well, yeah, if you want to, bring him down to our level and, and in some instances think that you're better than the creator. You are who you are. And everything that you do is a choice. Whether you want to be with men or whether you want to be with women or both. It's a choice. You can't say that I have no choice. I have a desire to be with men, and that is ingrained in me. It's innate. It's something that I was born with, or maybe you were born with that desire. But desires lead to choices. You can act on them or not. But to force another person to share in a delusion is wrong. It's folly. It's wrong. And the lusts that have you, it's got you. It's got you. And you have no self-control. You have absolutely no idea how to break free. I'm going to tell you how. Because there's a way out. It's his way. You have to be willing. You have to want it more than you want that. If you don't, I can't, all I can do is give you the truth. And the truth, just like sin, can also be absorbed within you, and it could also take root. But you have to let it. You have to understand it. Well, that's not my truth. Well, if it's, okay, here. Truth is truth. And if it's not truth, it's a what?
A lie.
It's a lie. All day, every day, same thing. Just like if you stick your hand in water, oh, it's not going to come up sand. It's water. If you put your hand in some fire, you're not going to draw back popcorn if you didn't have any when you first put your hand in the fire. Now, if you had some popcorn, your hand would be burnt, but, you have popcorn. But
gosh.
That was a bad analogy. Let me try something else.
If you stick your hand in poop, you're not going to pull up,
Flowers.
Right.
Unless they ate flowers. And then...
No, they digest it. You take... All right. So, the next scripture...
Well, I wasn't done. So, what I'm saying is, the choices that we make will lead us and drag us off. And there is a way out. And I'm going to share that with you today. We're going to talk it out. The desires of this world will ensnare you and will keep you out of the kingdom, because he does, while we're in it, he does not want us to be of it. Those things that they practice, those things that they teach your children, shield them, correct them, protect them, teach them his way, not their way. Well, I want my kid to survive. Yeah, you want your kid to survive, and you want your kid to live afterwards. Be wise as serpents or wolves, but be harmless as doves. Be in this world, but not of this world. Give those things to the government that are required of you to give to the government. But give those things to Yahuwah, those things that are required to give to Yahuwah. Let go of the one that cares about the cars, the boats, the planes, the trains, the houses, the mansions, the prestige, the diamonds, all of those things that will avail you nothing when you are standing in front of the judge himself. It won't mean anything. But I had this and I had that. Well, did you do what I told you to do? What's the next scripture?
Galatians 5:16. But I say to you, walk by the Spirit, and you will not gratify the desires of the flesh. That is simple enough.
But okay, you say that. Say you're humbling yourself, you're on your knees, Most High. You said, I've heard this on more than one occasions, that if we were to serve you, we have to walk with you in spirit. What exactly does that mean? Walk with you in spirit. That my flesh cannot please you. What can I do? How then can we be saved? How then can I walk with you? Can I do those things that you want me to do? I mean, what was that again?
But I say to you, walk by the Spirit, and you will not gratify the desires of the flesh.
Walk by the Spirit. Well, I tell you, to walk with him in spirit is to keep your mind on him no matter what. If you see somebody that pleases your eyes, and you know that it's going to lead to something else, say, Yahuwah, bless that person, and avert your eyes somewhere else. If this person is somebody that you work with on a regular basis, and oh man, they come in wearing this perfume that is just going to just drive you crazy, you just keep praying within yourself, Yahuwah, help me in my self-control, help me in my doubt. If you got to close your eyes, close them. If you got to sit there and just breathe coffee, have a little packet, you can make yourself a little deterrent. You can have some coffee grounds just in a coffee filter. You can seal it off by tape, glue, whatever, staples, and just sit there with that on your nose so that it doesn't bother you. There are ways that you can battle those things that come at you from a physical point and keep yourself in a spiritual mindset to walk with him, to do his will. Where do they teach that at? Where do they tell you that? Well, it's in the scripture, but I mean, who among us is sharing with our brethren that there are ways out of temptation in the physical to walk with him in the spiritual? This is how we do it.
I think so many times we hear about how men, lust after women because, their body's like this, or they look like this, whatever. They dress like a hoe. But one thing that people don't bring up a lot is the fact that women will lust after men as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Like I saw a Torah observant lady here, I don't know, a few months ago. And, she was talking about how she was struggling with, I think it was a neighbor. Anyway, you know, and she's like, well, my husband doesn't understand. He goes out, you know, and he's working 10 hours a day, and I'm with the kids. That's what you signed up for. You wanted a man to provide for you. You ain't going out and working. You staying home. So who's going to go out and pay the bills? So he's out busting his hump, and you out looking at your dang neighbor. Stop being a hoe. Get in the word. Pray.
Control yourself.
Right.
What you're doing is you're lusting and you're gratifying yourself. But if you walk with the Most High in spirit, just like that scripture said, you will neglect your flesh. You will refuse to gratify it in that manner, because that manner will keep you out of the kingdom. And you cannot walk with him and do those things at the same time. Good one, babe. What's the next
one? 2 Timothy 2:22. So flee youthful passions and pursue righteousness, faith, love, and peace, along with those who call on Yahushua from a pure heart.
So align yourself and gather yourself with like-minded individuals who are seeking to please the Most High and no one else and nothing else. Those youthful passions, and those are key words right there. These are things that should interest kids. Kids talk about cars, they talk about money, they talk about, they're enamored with fame and Hollywood and movies and mega stars, rock stars, R&B stars, hip hop artists, rap artists, and now country rap and all kinds of other things that just, it draws their attention. But you have to fuel your kids with the strength that they will need in order to resist temptation. And another thing, if they don't see you resisting temptation, you can't expect them to resist temptation. They watch you. They mimic you. They do everything that you do. Whether you think that it's of you or not, narcissistic. But, and that's just from their standpoint. Now, let's go over to the non-believers versus the believer standpoint. You are all believers. You believe in the Most High. You believe in his Son. You are believing in his commandments. You're believing in his laws. You believe in his way. So, if the non-believer doesn't see you having self-control, do you think they're going to be a part of what you're going through? When they can have it all, now, are they going to follow you? Are they going to follow the Most High? You showing them that? No. They're going to stay far from you. Now, that isn't to say that Yahuwah still can't. There's no, but you failed your test because of temptation, because of lust, because of desire. You can't control yourself. And what are the fruits of the Spirit?
I don't know what they are.
Self-control.
Oh, yeah.
Which should be the next one, I think.
It's not the next one.
Not?
It's down the list.
Okay. What's the next
Stop trying to make me get ahead of myself.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm in line.
Can't deal with you.
Got him lined up. All right. Colossians 3:5. Put to death, therefore, what is earthly in you: sexual immorality, impurity, passion, evil desire, and covetousness, which is idolatry.
So, not the good passion, but the bad passion. Get rid of those things that are going to keep you out of the kingdom. Get rid of those things about you. I mean, obviously, with this, when you become a believer in Yahusha, you become a believer in Yahuwah. You have dedicated you dedicate your life to him. You have died to the ways of the world already. You have died to the ways of the world. You're in it, but you're not of it. And that's what he commands of you. You have died, and so therefore the old man is gone. And you have put on the new. You have become a new creation. You have now been reconnected to the Most High. Before, it's just dead end. It was the busy signal every time you try to pray. Busy. Burp, burp, burp. I don't know what it is for, cell phones now, but in old school, analog telephones, burp, burp, burp. Oh man, they're either on the phone or I just can't get through. All circuits are busy now. You connected with the Most High, and now you can get through. Your calls will be received. They will be answered, and there is no, your call is important to us. Please remain on the line and someone will get to you momentarily. There won't be any of that. You can go straight to the Father through the Most High because He is that connection. He is the bridge. He is that narrow path. He is the short gate, straight gate, whatever it is. That's what He is. That's why He came about, so that we can reestablish the covenant with the Most High and do that. Okay, so you've put off the old man, you put on the new, you got that. Now people are watching you. What you do? Oh, so you're at work and you're with a non-believer, and this non-believer knows that you are a believer. And he's talking to you about the girl in the steno pool. I don't even know if that is still a thing. But anyway, he's talking to you about the girl, in HR, okay? Oh, man, she is fine. She's got this and she's got that. Oh, my goodness, man, if I could just have one night. Now you got a choice to make. You have a decision. You right here. The time stops. You have a decision to make as a believer because you have a responsibility not only to have self-control over the things that you think, the things that you say, because what you say will determine whether or not He's going to respect you as a believer and therefore will become a brother or a sister, or not, or respect who you serve. Because if who you serve allows you to be that way, I don't want no part of that. I'd rather take my chances. So now you have a decision to make. You can keep it high and mighty and holier than thou, which is not the way that, you're supposed to portray yourself. You're supposed to be humble. Well, if you like her so much, I know there's more to it than just physical. Why don't you talk to her? Invite her out to dinner. Take her out to lunch. Give her some flowers. Treat her like a person. Because that's how you want to be treated, right? Obviously, she's beautiful according to you. And, I'm married. I already got mine. So, there's no interest there for me. But go for it. What's worst that can happen? You can live a happy life, have kids. That's not what they want to hear. However, you've shown them a different way without being overbearingly religious. You kept it real. And that's all you have to do. Test passed. What's the next?
1 Corinthians 6:18. Flee from sexual immorality. Every other sin a person commits is outside the body, but the sexually immoral person sins against his own body.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier. People, the alphabet community, hey, I don't judge you. I don't judge you, but you know what's right and you know what's wrong. You do. So if the scripture's telling you to flee from those kinds of things, to do things that are unseemly, you can make all the excuses in the world to carry out your own desires. And I can tell you right now that I won't be the one standing in front of the judge because of your choices. Just like you will not stand in front of the judge for mine. But keep in mind that the ways of the world accepts what you want to do with your life, because that path is wide. Wide is the path to destruction. Because he made male, he made female. He made them together so that they can be together. They can perpetuate the species. He did not give you an unseeming spirit that will cause you to have lusts and desires that are against and contrary to his will. Now, as far as your character, I for one know that there are some of you that are the most lovable creatures on this planet, the most funny, the most charismatic, the most intelligent, the most, hey, I can't judge you as a person. Not my place. I don't have the power to do so, to save you whatsoever. All I can do is hand you the truth. You have to let it grow. You have to let it take root. You have to let it, as a person, you have personal responsibility to allow these things to manifest in you. He does not force himself upon you. We have been given free will. You can choose to be a chicken if you want to.
A llama.
An elephant. A hippopotamus. Giraffe.
Nobody's picking a big old fat hippo.
A gorilla. You can choose whatever it is you want. I can do impressions. And just because I can sound like Bill Cosby doesn't mean that I'm Bill Cosby. I'm not Bill Cosby. I'm me. I'm always going to be me. We do? I thought we only had a few. Okay, let's go on to the next.
We haven't even made it through half.
I feel like you judging me. You know what I'm saying? I just talked about that.
Do not desire her beauty in your heart, and do not let her capture you with her eyelashes.
Beauty, lust is what I'm talking about. The ways of this world. Do not let the ways of this world and the riches and the prestige and all that stuff lure you into its grasp.
He ain't gonna play right now.
Because it's never going to let you go.
Kitty, kitty.
And you don't know how to break free. So don't get ensnared into something that's going to just perpetuate on until you take your last breath, and now you no longer have access to the kingdom. What's the next one?
1 Peter 2:11. Beloved, I urge you as sojourners and exiles to abstain from the passions of the flesh, which wage war against your soul.
Self-control. Leave it alone. Think to yourself, if I do this, will it keep me out of the kingdom? Yes? I want no parts of it. I want no part of it. Oh my goodness, but it is so tempting. That is true. You know, it is going. There is going to be some temptations that's going to make you just basically cry because you have to turn away from it. But you know what? It's better for you. The Messiah himself said, "Look, if your eye offends you, dig that sucker out and cast it from you, because it is better to go into life with one eye, being a cyclops, than it would be for your whole body to get thrown into Gershenum, hell fire. If your left hand is basically causing you to do stuff that you would not, it is better for you to enter into life maimed or hot, like he said, than to have your whole body cast into hell. Find self-control. Learn self-control. Practice self-control. Practice it. Practice makes perfect for everything and everybody. Now, I'm not saying, hey, go to a strip club and just have this halo with wings and just, try to, no, keep yourself out of harm's way, because self-control involves where you go also, who you hang around with, the things that you say. Self-control means, hey, you know what, maybe I should shut up. Maybe I should just read and learn a little more about who this person or who this Elohim is that I serve. What's the next one? Tammy, she was in the middle of eating.
I got it.
I can't see her. I can't see
what she quietly talked because you knew I had food in my mouth.
I couldn't see. Well,
1 Thessalonians 4:3-5. For this is the will of Yahuwah, your sanctification, that you abstain from sexual immorality, that each one of you know how to control his own body in holiness and honor, not in the passion of lust like the Gentiles who do not know Yahuwah.
Which is basically what I was saying. So it all boils down to self-control. And I think that Paul broke it down for us as to what happens, when you're faced with temptation, the good in you, the good that is not in you, because we are, and the Messiah even himself said, you being evil, who among you would, if your kid comes up to you and asks you for food, you would give them a rock. You being evil, knowing how to do good deeds, this is where choices come into play, and this is where self-control comes into play. But Paul breaks it down to show what his inner turmoil was, and is that the next one?
No. The next one is Galatians 5:19-21.
What about that other one, the 7 through... I mean,
you talking about Romans?
Yeah.
That's in the next list for self-control.
Okay, well, we'll get into that with self-control. What's the next verse?
Galatians 5:19-21. Now the works of the flesh are evident: sexual immorality, impurity, sensuality, idolatry, sorcery, enmity, strife, jealousy, fits of anger, rivalries, dissensions, divisions, envy, drunkenness, orgies, and things like these. I warn you, as I warned you before, that those who do such things will not inherit the kingdom of Yahuwah.
Those of you who fall prey to all of those things. Because, I mean, actually it went into something that I have not yet talked about, which was sorcery, witchcraft, those things. Anger, we talked about. We talked about adultery. We talked about a whole lot of things, But, Yahuwah is not playing around, and therefore you have to take this serious. And do them, practice them, become the better person, a better person. It may not be a better person in your eyes if you don't understand him or his way. And you think that your ways are better because they suit you. They're successful for you. You might have a successful YouTube channel where, as everybody knows, if you get X amount of likes and subscribers or whatever, YouTube will send you a check. And when you've got the right formula, you'll have up to millions of viewers and subscribers and likes and whatever, and your check will substantially increase. So what happens now? YouTube becomes your idol. YouTube becomes who you depend on. YouTube becomes your way of life, and not his way of life. His way of life won't suit you now, because that would mean giving all of that up. If you don't use that platform for his esteem, you can. I don't know a lot of people who are, because money corrupts. Power corrupts. You get the big head, you start thinking that, hey, I don't need to do that. There are people out there that do that. I don't need to do that. You'll make all kinds of excuses when we are all called. We are all called to do his will. Those of us that are chosen, of us that are called, will move on to the kingdom. Make sure that you're not just the one who is called, but one who is chosen. Because those who belong to him hear his voice. What's the next one?
Hebrews 13:4. Let marriage be held in honor among all, and let the marriage bed be undefiled, for Yahuwah will judge the sexually immoral and the adulteress.
So you know that's coming. If you're married, you're doing things that are outside of his way, that path is narrow. He's got news for you. Whatever it is, it's not going to work for you in the end. It may work for you right here, right now, but in the end, you'll pay for it. There's nothing in this world, in case you have not noticed, that is without a cost, without a price. What price are you willing to pay, so to ensure that you don't make it into the kingdom? Is it worth it? Is that night in the hotel room with this guy that you met, that, hey, you know what, I got urges, he got urges, we just go with it. We go with it. We go with the flow. We go with and that's it? Unless you make vows, you and he make vows before the Most High to spiritually bond yourselves in marriage. A lot of people think that you're only married when you go to a judge or a preacher. But I tell you that if you take yourself a wife, or you take a woman and you go into her, you have taken a wife. You have made her your wife. And if you vow, both of you, before the Most High, then that's something else. You plan to spend the rest of your lives together, and you're going to. But for those that are just want to do it for doing its sake, have a tryst, have an orgy, hey, let's get a party started. Everybody in here is of a like mind. We wanna just have fun. We wanna just pleasure each other. We're adults, so we can talk about this without people going, oh my gosh, I can't believe you thought that. Keeping it real, keeping it 100. You want to do stuff. Those are the ways of the world. Those are not his ways. He does not promise you orgies in the kingdom. Put it like this. Will he allow it in the kingdom? That should tell you right there whether or not you should do it. Did he talk about that in Scripture? Yes, but he put it in such a bad light. So I don't know. No, you don't make an excuse. Don't trick yourself, because a lot of us, we do the work for Satan. We do his work for him. He don't even have to approach most of us, because all these machines in this world are set up to distract you. And, he's already done his part. He knows what you like. He knows what you want. He knows how to get your attention. Money, power, things, technology, going different places, lying to one another. What you think, babe?
I agree with you.
What's the next one?
Romans 7:15 through 21. I do not understand what I do. For what I want to do, I do not do. But what I hate, I do. And if I do what I do not want to do, I agree that the law is good. As it is, It is no longer I myself who do it, but it is sin living in me. For I know that good itself does not dwell in me, that is, in my sinful nature. For I have the desire to do what is good, but I cannot carry it out. For I do not do the good I want to do, but the evil I do not want to do. This I keep on doing. Now if I do what I do not want to do, it is no longer I who do it, but it is sin living in me that does it. So I find this law at work. Although I want to do good, evil is right there with me.
Now in this, I have to say that there are not many scriptures where I find fault. Because, and I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to have to pray on this, and maybe one of you can help me out. But it seems like he's in complete and utter denial about his own personal responsibility. Now, this is my personal interpretation and understanding. I'm in no way teaching you to feel that way, but I'm conveying my concern about this particular passage in the scripture. He's saying that the good is not in me to do, which corroborates with what the Messiah said, that you being evil, and not having good, knows how to do good things. And you know how to make the choice whether or not to do good things. But it is you and not sin itself. Sin doesn't act on its own, which is what I'm getting for that. And I'm going to have to, because the Most High gives you the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Now, he's saying that if I do this, if I swipe this money, it is no longer me that's swiping the money, but the sin has swiped the money. It's the same thing to me that says, and it may be the way that it's worded, that the devil made me do it. Now, Paul broke it down as to what he goes through, and we all go through something similar to that. I say to you even further to break it down and put it into perspective for you, that you have choices to make. You have a desire, crime of opportunity. Ain't nobody around. There's a stack of $100 bills right here. Now, if that's not a red flag, Tammy and I, we challenge ourselves like that, every now and again. It's like, if you saw, what would you do? That kind of thing. But crime of opportunity. You hungry. You got bills to pay. You got kids at home need diapers, milk, soap. Man, my rent's due. COVID's hitting. I'm out of masks. You have a choice to make. Now, your first thought is always going to be, man. But those of you who follow the Most High, they'd be like, you are my provider. You are my provider. Now, you could take this and do what the law requires and turn it in. To, as a believer, this is what we would do, or we should do. Turn it in, and if nobody comes back for it, you put out an ad in the paper, do all that is required. Nobody comes back for it, then it's yours. You can do with it what you want. Or you can leave it alone. Keep it moving, because something ain't right. And whatever it is, I don't want to be a part of it. There's cameras everywhere. There's always somebody watching you. Nope. Or you can do what they would do in the world for anybody that doesn't practice self-control. Freeze! Put your hands up! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Ah! Shoot. Choices. Decisions. Consequence. The consequence of doing the right thing is, hey, you still have access to the kingdom.
This scripture, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I was just kind of looking into that.
You're right.
If we go 4 past that, it says, I thank Yahuwah through Yahusha, our Messiah. So then, with the mind, I myself serve the law of Yahuwah, but with the flesh, I serve the law of sin. I think that's the point, that he's talking about being, like, disobeying the law of Yahuwah and going with, of course, like, the law of the flesh, so to speak, the sinful nature. I don't think he's saying that he can't. Like, in the flesh, you can't. The flesh is weak. You can't defeat these things. We have to fight it with the strength of Yahuwah. We can't do it by ourselves. I think that's the point. It's not that he's saying
we are incapable. Well, okay, that also corroborates what the Messiah said. So that's good. And this is why you read the whole thing rather than just snippets or passages. You have to read what's before and after to get the complete context. And you prove that right then and there. If you keep on reading, it may come to you that your body is born to sin. It's born in sin. It's born of sin. A sin. The original sin. Trickles on down to us. We can't escape it. So it wants to sin. It wants to completely disobey the Most High, which is why temptation is such a plague for us. It's such a plague that we can't get around it, and there's not one of us that is going to go through this life without having experienced temptation, possibly on a regular basis. But you rise above it, keeping your mind in the spirit, and having self-control. Self-control is not something that you will develop overnight. It's something that you definitely have to practice. I had to practice. Tammy, she wasn't born with a halo. She has to practice. Everybody has to practice. Right?
Mm-hmm.
No?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Indeed.
I love you.
I love you too.
Thanks. Appreciate that. You're the best. Is that it?
No.
No. We have more. But wait, there's more.
1 Corinthians 10:13. No temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind. And Yahuwah is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, he will also provide a way out so that you can endure it.
And that's what this is all about. That's what we're talking about here today. Your lusts, your desires are temptation.
Oops.
Don't fall prey. Don't lose self-control, because you have help in the form of the Most High himself. He is your salvation, and salvation comes from no other. He will help you and give you a way out. Just like I said, those choices, those three choices, I only gave you three. There could have been an innumerable amount of choices that you could have made with that stack of money that you found. The good way, the good path. Turn it in, do whatever's required, put an ad out. Look, if they come and get the money, better for them. You have just helped that person, because who knows what they would have been going through, and you've done a good thing. That's a choice. Or you could have made a bad one. Kept it for yourself. Paid the cost. Because you wouldn't have to just pay for it in this lifetime, but also in the next. What's next?
1 Corinthians 9:24-28. Do you not know that in a race all the runners run, but only one gets the prize? Run in such a way as to get the prize. Everyone who competes in the games goes into strict training. They do it to get a crown that will not last, but we do it to get a crown that will last forever. Therefore, I do not run like someone aimlessly running. I do not fight like a boxer beating the air. No, I strike a blow to my body and make it my slave, so that after I have preached to others, I myself will not be disqualified for the prize.
Do what you say what you do. help others to do and say what he says and what he does.
I like this. It's when he says, "I strike a blow to my body and make it my slave." I mean, he's doing what he has to do to bring his body into submission.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. And that is a really great way, a really great scripture passage to inspire you and to keep you focused on the Most High through the Messiah. Anything next?
One more. 1 Corinthians 7:5. Do not deprive one another, except perhaps by agreement for a limited time, that you may devote yourselves to prayer, but then come together again so that Satan may not tempt you because of your lack of self-control.
And that is going to those of you who are married. Don't hold sex as a weapon against one another. I mean, because it basically causes you to lust after other people. You know, it just invites Satan to come in and just wreak havoc in your relationship. So, if you are to abstain from sex for the kingdom's sake, to pray for others, to purify yourself, to rededicate your life to the Most High through the Messiah, then do it, and do it quickly, and get back to the way that your maritals. That way you keep Satan out. You're stronger, both physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. And you basically shored up your own defenses against temptation. And the lusts has no power over you. Your desires have no power over you. And even now they don't. You just don't know it yet. They have no power over you. All they can do is present themselves. And it is up to you to be like, nope. I'm out. Nope. I'm not doing that. It is up to you and your personal responsibility, because nobody is going to stand in front of that judgment throne or judgment seat in your stead. Take it serious, because it is serious. And I know that, you say that this, I say that this is Torah living, and you may say that, you just browbeat us. You just tell us about, the things that I'm just pointing out the stuff that we have to, I'm keeping it real and putting it in perspective so that you guys can understand it. And you guys can take it on with you into the next. It's serious.
I mean, in truth, when we hear discussions like this, if we feel browbeat, that's usually because
it's the truth.
Right.
I mean, not that the truth is that you're being browbeaten, but that
you're hearing the
you're
truth.
You're feeling convicted.
And you feel in some kind of way about it.
So heed these words, people. Come together. Because there is safety in numbers. We're still searching. We're still seeking his face. We're still seeking others that we can sojourn with. Or we're seeking people with whom we can sojourn. And make it. Mm-hmm. We have a long way to go. And we have been given a reprieve of sorts. Not from each other and the evils of men, but from his wrath. There haven't been any calamitous floods and, hellfire that rained down on the earth like it was in the days of Sodom and Gomorrah. People ain't turning around, turning into salt. That part. You think that those are just stories of old. And I'm telling you right now, the Most High does not change. And if he did it then, he could do it now. The only promise that he made is that he would not flood the earth again in that way. He didn't say nothing about not rain and hail, hail fire down upon us, burning cities down to the ground, to the very. You can't even tell that there actually was a city over there. I watched a documentary on what happened in Sodom and Gomorrah, and you know they were over there in the land of where it is, and it's. I mean, it is completely uninhabitable. There's nothing growing there at all. So what you gonna do? You gonna get into lust, or you gonna take heed and read and trust and believe in the words of the Most High and do His will, do it His way? Can't do it your way. So if you have commented, if you have questions or concerns about any of the things that we talked about here, if you have anything to add, and if you know, let us know. Let us know in the comments. Let us know in a private message. Those of you who are on YouTube, you know, hit like this video, share it, subscribe to this channel so that you won't miss any of the videos that we come up with. You know, hit that notification bell so that you'll get a notification once we go live, or if we've uploaded something that you may want to, it may be of interest to you, or you may know somebody that needs to hear these words. Those of you who are on Facebook, you know, share this video. You know, you can like it or not, comment, and whatever, and just make sure to keep your focus on the Most High and not just on the things that I'm talking about. Don't take my word for it. Don't take Tammy's word for it. Don't take anybody's word for it. Study to show yourself approved and make it to the kingdom. And that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about today. Hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful Shabbat. You've prepared your food yesterday, so, you know, eat hearty today and spend some time with your family, worshiping the Most High. Show them how to do it.
You done?
Shabbat Shalom. We'll see you guys next time.
Shabbat Shalom. I gotta turn this a little bit. There's a glare on it. I can't see that button. There it is.